Hello, my name is Brett Deaton, and I'm a Public Information Officer on the Elk Fire. Our goal in the Information Shop has been to provide you with timely and accurate information. Today, you'll get to hear from some of the decision makers, the challenges, the successes, and the tactics, all the way from initial attack to today and the next steps. The fire currently stands at 2,705 acres. And yes, our map will need some updating as we get new information in. We're at 16% containment with 790 personnel on the fire. Throughout this video, you will see this map change in the background. We are providing maps that are accurate to the individuals that are speaking to be able to provide the information that they're trying to articulate to you. So, I hope you find this video informative, and on final thought, thank you. Thank you for your support, thank you for your generosity, and thank you for your kindness to our firefighters.
My name is Brad Smith. I work for the Oregon Department of Forestry out of the Klamath Unit. Duty officer and overhead for the Department of Forestry. On Tuesday, I was dispatched out to smoke report on Bly Mountain. Upon responding to that incident off Hummingbird Lane, we had pretty active fire behavior below Hummingbird. It had already jumped across Hummingbird. We had multiple structures threatened or involved in the fire. We had a lot of incoming resources and orders out for any other available engines, as well as aircraft to be responding to this incident. As we could see, it was a progressing incident and going to be, potential problems. So we had a lot of resources coming to this. I pretty quickly assumed the role of the IC on the fire. Short time after that, Oregon Department of Forestry, Jason Pettigrew, arrived on scene. He filled in his operations. We also had air attack overhead by this point. We all had some conversations and came up with a game plan, what we wanted to try to do with the fire, as far as trying to stop it up at the top of the mountain as quickly as we could. Had aircraft, multiple helicopters working. Started out initially with seaplanes working. As soon as air attack, we had orders in for the heavy air tankers. Ended up with a handful of large air tankers and VLATs, very large air tankers. They continue to work the right flank and left flank of the fire. And smoke column was pushing, wind was driving the fire up the hill, and we're not able to get retardant out in front of the head of the fire, continue to spot out ahead of itself. Some reports a half-mile spotting out in front of the fire. It's very difficult for us to get out there and air attack to get retardant across the head of the fire. So we continued to just work the flanks the best we could. We worked aircraft all the way until pumpkin time, dark, and the aircraft could no longer fly. We had multiple dozers, skingins from Green Diamond on scene. Dozers were pushing the right flank and the left flank, just anchor and flank tactics. We had the Klamath County Task Force was on scene with Oregon State Fire Marshal, tied in doing structure evaluation and structure protection, along with District 5, the Bly Mountain Fire Department, trying to do point protection on those structures as the fire continued to progress up the hill. The fire mainly pushed away from the populated residential areas. There were still a few homes that were of concern, but in general, the fire pushed out of the populated areas. So that was one thing that was a little bit better, that we weren't right in the middle of a whole bunch of residential homes and stuff like that. So we just continued to work with the dozers, work the aircraft until dark, and just tried to implement our tactics the best that we could.
Good morning. My name is David Blair. I'm the Klamath County Fire Defense Board Chief, and I'm here to present some of the information for Klamath County Task Force involvement and the initiation of a conflagration. On the morning of July 8th, we were alerted of an emerging incident in the Bly Mountain area, and there were risks to structures, and local agencies were spread thin. ODF crews were on multiple fires on the night before, and we looked to support District 5 and Bonanza Fire with county resources. We made a call to our Klamath County Task Force. It initiated a response of agencies from Klamath and Lake counties, and they went to support the incident. The incident went well through that day, and we released our county task forces about 8 p.m. that evening, the first day. Next morning, we seen a shift in the fire, and the fire behavior increased and began to move towards the northeast and threatened other communities as well as other properties and structures to the northeast. After our crews released on the first night, they re-engaged the fire again as a Klamath County Task Force, consisting of pretty much of the same resources from Klamath and Lake County, and re-engaged the fire, at which time we seen that the fire developed to proportions that were not going to be able to be covered by local resources. I made a call to the Oregon State Fire Marshal's office, and we were able to request a conflagration. And at that time, Governor Kotek enacted a conflagration act for the Elk Fire. Oregon State Fire Marshal's office initiated an immediate response by 2 task forces for deployment as soon as they could arrive, with an additional 3 task forces coming in the next morning. At that time, the fire behavior was still spotting, but had shifted towards the southeast area, moving away from structures. But we had multiple structures and residences in level 3 evacuations. So the conflagration task force was able to support evacuations as well as structure protections, and then went to hardening lines and verifying that we were lowering the risk. I would like to thank all the responding agencies that responded to assist Klamath County Fire District 5 and Bonanza, as well as all the residents and community members that helped and assisted where they could, as well as being alerted to getting out of danger's way and following evacuation guidelines. We appreciate the support and help from the Oregon State Fire Marshal's office, our wildland partners, including ODF, BLM, and National Forest, and as well as the large property owners that have a lot of the area that's being affected by the fire.
My name's Teresa Williams. I'm the district forester for the Klamath Lake District for the Oregon Department of Forestry, and I'm one of the agency administrators on this fire. First of all, I want to thank the community for your support and for allowing us to come in and bring extra resources into the community, and for supporting us, especially for those first few hours until we get the team with logistics and everything set up. Leading up to this incident, we have had several lightning fires throughout the last 2 weeks. So lightning started on June 28th, and we had over 90 dispatched fires within that time frame. Our local resources have done a phenomenal job in keeping all of the other fires small. Some things just didn't align or aligned correctly. Bad weather. We had, some cells coming through, winds, hot temperatures, and this one they just could not keep around it as hard as they tried. So we quickly decided that we were going to order the local Type 3 team. Our Type 3 team is part of the South Central Oregon Fire Management Partnership. And within that partnership, it includes ODF, BLM, Forest Service, National Parks, Federal Fish and Wildlife, and the Bureau of Indian Affairs. And so in that collaboration, we brought that team in, and they brought great capacity on the operational side. As they started getting more resources in, we quickly realized that we were not at the level that we were going to be able to support those firefighters and all of the crews and everything that was coming in to fight this fire. So that's when we had to elevate and decided to order ODF Team 1 to come in to help support and bring more resources to get this fire quickly corralled and off the landscape. With that, ODF Team 1 came in, and they've done a great job in the community. They're setting up logistics, and just really want to thank the community for everything you guys have done and for supporting us while we're here to be able to do this job and get this fire off the landscape quickly.
Good afternoon. My name is Travis Medema, and I serve as a Chief Deputy for the Department of State Fire Marshal and currently the Agency Administrator on the Elk Fire. As we've seen, the 2025 wildfire season has been extremely challenging. For the Department of State Fire Marshal, we've had 5 conflagrations already to date, and currently 2 on the landscape with the Elk Fire and the Highland Fire outside of Prineville. This fire season, because of fuels, weather, and conditions, has set up to be a very long, challenging, and difficult fire season. And as we look forward into the latter part of the fire seasons, rapid response, mobilization quickly to get to communities to help protect them will be absolutely vital. This incident, the Elk Fire, along with other conflagrations this year, have been absolutely critical to respond early and to respond timely. That has been part of the vital success in keeping fires small and out of communities. Clearly, the partnership in this local area between local, state, and federal partners is strong and led to many successes on this incident. The leveraging of both wildland resources and structural resources helps minimize the impacts to our communities when fires like this break out. As we look forward to a few more challenging months during the 2025 wildfire season, I wanted to highlight a few of the new programs from the Department of State Fire Marshal that can lead to many successes. One of those is the staffing grant. Many agencies, your local fire agencies within this area, received the OSFM staffing grant. That allows those local agencies to add capacity to help manage incidents and to respond to all different types of incidents within their department, whether it's a medical call, whether it's a structure fire, whether it's a wildland fire like this. Those departments have been able to add this seasonal capacity to help respond to protect you. Additionally, over the last couple of years, we've rolled out a brand new engine program where 76 apparatus have been placed around the state in structural fire agencies. Those apparatus are a key element to a quick response and minimize a risk to communities. Lastly, I wanted to touch on community risk reduction and programs that we have in our department to help minimize the risk of large catastrophic wildfires like this. Anything homeowners, landowners can do before a wildfire helps our wildland firefighters and our structural firefighters when they're responding to those incidents to help protect what's most important to you, your community, your property, and your lives. I want to close with a sincere thanks. This could not be possible to bring 800 people into a city of 400 without the partnerships and the local relationships. And I sincerely want to thank the City of Bonanza, all the local landowners, and everybody that's helped participated at the county level and at the state level and at the federal level. These partnerships and relationships will be absolutely imperative as we face another difficult fire season. Lastly, just thank the community for everything that you do and all your support of our firefighters. There are 800 folks out there working today to help keep you safe, and those firefighters are really the ones that are minimizing the risk to you and your communities. I want to thank them and you for their support. Have a great day. Thanks.
Kyle Gibbons, Operations Section Chief of the Oregon Department of Forestry, Team 1. I'll just go over a little bit of the recap on the Elk Fire and why we have a couple incident management teams here and what kind of led us up to this point. So a little bit of review. So here we'll just go over a little bit of the perimeter of the fire. So this one's looks a little bit different than normal. A lot of times a little bit more uniform. And so down here is the origin of the fire. And then as you can see, it's fairly narrow here. And then at one point gets extremely narrow. And then it kind of goes into this blob. So is what happened here. The fire started. Initial attack crews from the local area responded. You basically, aggressive initial attack, you anchor, and then you flank, and then you try to pinch off the head of the fire. So here they anchored here at the origin. They started to work up both flanks, and then right here they pinched off the fire basically. So they were in a really good spot. Pretty much caught it, they thought. A sudden wind shift. So there was a lot of lightning in the area then, and so that's a common thing that a lot of times firefighters deal with is these sudden wind shifts and these gusts of winds and fairly erratic winds at times. And so this sudden wind shift, they pretty much caught the fire, and then this sudden wind shift blew it a different direction. So that's where it ran here to the north for a little bit, and then we had another wind shift into that more of the predominant northwest wind that we're kind of still under now, several shifts into this incident, and then it started to come back here to the southeast. So that's just a little bit of the recap of where it got to the point where, the first crews that were on scene almost caught the fire. And then it got out with the sudden wind shift. So they brought in a local Type 3 team. Excellent work there too. They almost got around the fire. And then we had another wind shift, and it got a little bit out of their control. A lot of it was on the operations side. They were doing pretty good, but you get to the point where you need more and more resources, and so to support those folks with food, fuel, and everything that we need to support those folks on the line. That's where we ended up with the team I'm on, the Oregon Department of Forestry Team 1, and then the OSFM team that's here as well, to just be able to build a camp, support the folks on the line, and then that's where we end up with, we roughly, just under 1,000 folks here on this incident. So that's a little bit of the recap of where we're at today, and then quickly we'll go just kind of work our way around the map, but here, we'll start at the origin. So we have some black line on the map. So that area we're feeling that's fairly contained. We've worked in from the perimeter, and it makes sense. It's kind of the oldest part of the fire. And then as we work up the flanks here in Division Lima, so everything's looking pretty good. We have it lined. We have a lot of hose on the ground, and then we're flowing quite a bit of water. So digging up those hot spots. And going from there. So then working around here to the north and down into Division Zulu, it's either dozer line, hand line, and then we're continuing to utilize hose lays, engines, skidgins, and then heavy equipment where needed. So, and then working around onto the southern flank of the fire, that's the area where the wind's wanting to push it now. We have the higher temps, lower humidity, so it's a little bit challenging for firefighters. We're trying to get the lines as clean as possible, and we don't anticipate any major issues, but we'll definitely, there will be areas that we'll have to focus a little bit more attention with aircraft and then resources on the ground. So still utilizing pretty much all the tools. We're utilizing a drone with IR capabilities, so UAS, unmanned aircraft, helicopters, retardant planes if needed, engines, tenders, hand crews, skidgins, dozers, feller bunchers, and then masticators. So pretty much, all the tools that we have available to us, we're still utilizing at this point. And then we'll just continue to mop up from the perimeter and push in and increase the containment on this incidents plan. Thank you.
Good day. My name is Vince Stafford. I'm one of the Structure Operations Chiefs. To here give you a final review of the fire. Today's July the 13th. So kind of give you an overview of what we did from when we first got here. So the conflagration was enacted, so that allowed us to bring in structural resources to the fire. And what that does basically is the first responders and all that did an awesome job on initial attack, but they're exhausted and they bring us in to help relieve that and support them. So that's why we come and help protect the values at risk, which are property and all those things around our cultural things and all that. So that's why we come and we integrate with Oregon Department of Forestry to help keep this footprint small. So when we arrive, we get an in-brief and then we go out, and our job is to assess all the structures surrounding this whole fire. And that's what the crews were doing. If you saw them running around looking at each of these houses, what we do with that is that once we look at those, then we know what needs are needed if the fire was to approach on those and how we would best defend those. So then as we worked our way around all the way up to the top, same thing, and then also supporting our wildland partners, we learn about some different values at risk and those things, and then we can go direct when we need to. And then through the days, we learned that the communication tower up here was a high priority to keep that up and running. We sent some crews up there to make it more defendable, just get some of the brush away from the towers. We did have some resource specialists go up there and evaluate that we didn't disturb anything, any native agricultural things that need to take place up there, and no special plants and those things. Nothing was disturbed on that. So that's good news there, and that's sitting in a really good spot. And then through the days that we were here, the fire, the RDOF partners have made great progress all the way around this fire, getting around it and doing that. In the last few days on this, we've been down here in the Hummingbird, in that area, really locking that in around those structures, and that's why there's black on the map now, which means that's really secure. And we've been in there gridding those things. And then again, helping our wildland partners with water shuttles and those type of things. And again, I can't reiterate how the first responders and locals, their initial attack on this fire set us up for such success. Getting around this thing without your work to get this in a good spot really helped us. So this will be our last shift on this today, and because it's looking so good that we can turn this back over to our local fire departments and ODF and those type of everybody else that contributes to this, and trying to keep this footprint as small as possible, because we know how valuable this is, from your homes and your property to all the timber and resources that are out in this. So, and that's our main goal when we come. So again, I want to thank the community for welcoming us, being very supportive of us coming into your town. You got a lot of strangers in town, and we really kind of double your population and all that, and we want to respect that and leave on a good note. And we want to thank you for allowing us to come into your community. So you have a good day.
Sheriff Mitchell here with the Clement County Sheriff's Office. I got my operations Lieutenant Steve Lewis here with me. We're here to talk about the Elk Fire, which started at the Hummingbird area on Tuesday this week. It started out slow, and it generally grew larger. We got the OSFM here to help. Have about 1,000 people here covering this fire to help keep from building and growing into another county like we've had in the past. Protect the residents and structures and the people of Klamath County. We've got to give a big shout out to the people here in Bonanza that are cooperating. A lot of people in town for a small community, 400 and some odd residents to 800 plus people all at once. So it causes some issues internally for them, but they've been very helpful in providing this. I'm going to let Lieutenant Lewis now talk about the initial hit on Tuesday with regards to the fire.
Thank you, Sheriff. Yeah, the initial incident here, it started in the Kingfisher Hummingbird, right in this area here, centering around the Sandpiper, which was just actually just south of a fire that we had 2 weeks prior, the Polar Fire. Initial response by the local fire units got on scene, and we actually caught a bit of a break on this one with it being located on the eastern edge of the subdivision. So the initial units got on scene, recognized that it was a evolving incident, went ahead and we triggered evacuation notices to that area of the subdivision. Due to the rapidly expanding fire, we went ahead and pushed out the level 3 for that area. As the fire kind of continued its path up into the kind of a northeasterly direction, expanded the evacuation notification to the potentially affected area and residents. Fire crews did an outstanding job of keeping this contained to where it's at, and we just kind of did the precautionary level 2 to the outlying areas, and they were able to hold the fire to the area that's indicated here on the map. Currently, still working on the southern edge of it with the spot fires that are occasionally jumping out, but we've been able to reduce the evacuation levels down to 2 at the point of origin, able to get the initially evacuated residents back in there, assess any impacts to their residences, and get back in and rehome themselves if they're able to, and subsequently close down the evacuation center for the displaced residents in Bonanza. And again, just to echo what Sheriff Mitchell already said, I mean, we are super grateful for the initial attack responders, the extra crews that came in from ODF, Oregon State Fire Marshals, Structure Protection. Outstanding job with what they've done on the fire and are continuing to do. Much appreciated from our office, the residences, you know, the interagency cooperation has been just outstanding.
One group of people I did forget about was our search and rescue. They hit it the very first day, going from house to house, notifying people, bringing people out if need be. So I got to give a thanks out to them coming out on their own time, being volunteers. We're going to be meeting the next few days to looking at lowering the level 2 to lower 1, but we're going to have meetings in the morning and see where that fire takes us. Residents in the area, I just want to make you conscious of what you're doing in the area in regards to your burning. The high temperatures, the heat, drying everything out, and not watching what your fires are doing. The duff in the ground is going to sit there and smolder for days, and it's going to start on fire. So we got to be careful. Don't be burning this time of year right now. Hold off until the winter or wet winter, wet weather to keep that going. So I got to say thank you for everybody and their collaboration throughout the community, as well as all the firefighters and people that have come in to help us out to get this under control. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Ian Yoakum. I'm the incident commander for the OSFM Red Team, and it's my honor and really privilege to represent the firefighters on the structural side within the Oregon State Fire Marshal's Office incident management team, but also the Oregon Structural Fire Service. So a little bit, I think you've got an operational update. A little bit, we arrived here on Wednesday night, and that's due to the Conflagration Act, and that is the fire chiefs, the local fire chiefs here. We're representing District 5 and District 3, and then the county commissioners who brought us in to protect homes and structures around the fire imprint of the Elk Fire. What that means is those local resources, they were here, they were doing everything they could to get around this fire, protect those homes, and they did that. But as a fire grows and their capacity for resources, for additional units, they had used that up. They had a Klamath County task force come in, and they asked for help. So they called the State Fire Marshal's office. Governor's Conflagration Act was invoked, allows us to come in and respond with task forces from across the state, which is what our system. So I just really wanted to mention those task forces that came. They came from Polk County, Lincoln County, Clatsop County, Marion County, and Multnomah County. And again, all those crews, career and volunteer firefighters, left their jobs, left their families to come and support your community and take care of your homes, take care of the things that you care about. And when we do that, we respond with our incident management team. We come in this situation, we're unified with our ODF partners, and I know Joe's going to talk a little bit about their work. We've had great success over the last 4 or 5 days, a lot of good work, coordinated effort, and now that threat to homes and to communities has diminished, and it allows us to kind of reset, start gliding out, sending our crews home. So the structural task forces today will be our last operational period. That means we can go home, get reset. It's going to be a busy summer. And you know what I would say to the communities all across this great state is be prepared. Listen to your public officials on evacuation levels. When fire hits, have some personal accountability on not only protecting your homes, creating that defensible space around your homes, but also being prepared to evacuate if necessary, if needed. Hopefully you don't, but if you do, please be prepared so that we can do our job, get in there, protect those homes, but so that you can get out safely for your family, because that's really the most important thing is you making sure that you get out safely. So it being our last shift, there's still a lot of work that needs to get done. There's still a ton of work that's got to get around the full perimeter of the fire, mopping up, making sure all those hot spots are taken care of. And that's really where our wildland partners and those crews that will continue to be here. We have over 800 firefighters that are here protecting your community. And those firefighters are going to continue to do a lot of work for weeks. They will be here taking care of this incident. So with that, I'll turn over to my partner in Unified Command, Joe Hessel with ODF.
Thanks, Ian. Good afternoon, everybody. As Ian said, I'm Joe Hessel, Incident Commander with the Oregon Department of Forestry team that's here, and we've been in unified command with Ian since we arrived a while back. Just wanted to relate to you that while Ian's working with the local fire service and the county on his delegation, on the wildland side, the ODF team is working for the Oregon Department of Forestry, BLM, and Forest Service locally. And all of those jurisdictions have lands involved in the incident. I'll talk just briefly, maybe for a minute here, about the relationship between the two teams and how by having both teams here on this incident, we've been able to really maximize the capacity that the two of us have with the folks that we brought. ODF has strengths on the perimeter control, the building the fire line, the mopping up the edge of the perimeter, and essentially stopping the forward spread. The OSFM side has very strong capability in the structural side, and so that allows us to focus our attention on the perimeter, and it allows them, by having us here, to focus on protecting structures. And we certainly overlap quite a bit in the middle to be more effective at the end of the day and more efficient, I think. And so it's quite a force to be reckoned with. I might also mention what our mission has been since we've been here and will be going forward. It's pretty short and sweet. It's keep the fire as small as we can, take care of it as quickly as we can, and keep our folks safe while we're accomplishing that mission. And if we can do that, we're going to minimize the impacts on the values at risk that are out there, whether it's structures, whether it's commercial private timberlands, it could be cultural resources, could be the infrastructure in and around the fire with the power lines or the fiber optic cables. We've had a little bit of everything, but we feel if we can get this fire lined and taken care of quickly, it'll minimize those impacts. I'm just going to close out, I think, quickly by saying thank you to the communities, the community of Bonanza in particular that's hosting our incident command posts. They've been gracious. The school district has been wonderful. We've been here before. We can't be successful without the local community being our partners in this effort, in this venture. Got private landowner. We're camped in their field about 15 minutes to the north of here. Those are important pieces, and all the local partners and cooperators have been with us along the way. So thanks to those folks, and thanks to Ian and the OSFM Red Team. We wouldn't be as far along on this incident as we are today without having had his team and his group here with us. So maybe the last thought is, as he said, we'll be here for at least, I'm going to say, with the full 800-ish folks for another week or so, plus or minus, till we get everything cold black around the entire perimeter. We've met some what we call turnback standards. It'll go back to the local unit at that time, and then they're going to carry on with patrol and mop up as long as needed after that to make sure it's not going to become an issue later this summer. So thank you.